Good morning, church. I hope you're doing well. In the Bible, we see Jesus loving people without actually saying the words, I love you. And he also said in John chapter 13, verse 34, just as I have loved you, you also love one another. So Jesus is telling us to love like he loved. So how did Jesus love? Well, Jesus loved people in so many different ways when he was here on this earth. Jesus loved through the act of service by washing the disciples' feet. And Jesus loved through the words of affirmation when he said to the centurion in Luke chapter 7, he says, I tell you, I have not found such great faith in all of Israel. And we also see Jesus loving his disciples through spending quality times with them. And we also see Jesus loving people by giving gifts of food, gift of power and authority to heal the sick and to cast out demons. And we also see Jesus loving people through his physical touch. When the little children came to him, he picked them up in his arm and he placed his hands on them and he blessed them. And we see that in Mark chapter 10, verse 16. I think it's important that we show love and communicate love in a way the other person can understand, especially during this time of pandemic when we are all stuck at home and we see each other more often than we normally would. So just recently, like many parents with their child, I was having relational issues with my younger son, Joshua. And I was praying to God that God would reveal his love to Joshua and that God would reveal my love to Joshua. And then God stopped me and God asked me, have I done my part in showing Joshua that I love him? Somehow I understand what God was telling me. You see, Joshua understands love and thrives when he receives words of affirmation and gifts. Well, I must admit that I'm guilty of not doing these things. In my busyness of showing love in a way that I understand love, that love gets miscommunicated. I understand love by providing act of service. So I provide act of service of help to Joshua when he doesn't understand his homework. And I provide act of service of wisdom when I see possible danger that Joshua could run into. And I provide service of reminder to Joshua with his chores. You see, we were clashing in our relationship expectation because we weren't communicating in same language, love language. So that got me, wondering how many of us run into relationship breakdown or had to settle for shallow relationship because there is not a deep connection of love. Would our relationship improve if we had communicated love in different ways? Could we have deep and strong relationship? So God was speaking to me that one of the important elements of parenting is a relationship that we have with our children. And I guess that goes for all other relationship. And that week I run into a writing by Dr. Gordon Neufeld, who says the level of relationship that we have with our children will determine how well they listen to us, accept our discipline and values, and cooperate. Yes, that got me thinking that we can pray for our children all we want, and that's important. But it's also important that we build that strong relationship with our children and with one another. So that day, I went out and bought Joshua something that he always wanted it. Not because it was Christmas, not because it was his birthday, but just to say, I love you without words. And that evening, I spent time with Joshua and we chatted away and I listened to him all night, what he wanted to tell me. I am so thankful to God that God is always at work, teaching us how to improve in our relationship. So this morning, can I encourage you, if God is putting somebody in your heart to build that relationship or repair that relationship, can I encourage you to love that person in a way that person understands love? God bless you.